alarms. We have a big sleeper candidate with Devin Neal, the running back out of Kansas. This is somebody who I've enjoyed watching over the past 3 seasons. I'm excited that he's finally declared for the NFL draft. This is somebody, John, who I have been eagerly waiting to talk about. He is going to be selected in many of my rookie drafts. So I cannot wait to get into Devin Neal out of Kansas.
If it was 2022 and I was sitting down and I was talking about all-time great Kansas running backs, I would have had 2, Gale Sayers in the 60s and John Riggins. They were clearly the 2 Jayhawks that stood out in history. If I was going to sit down next week, Matt, I would have to make it a trio. And Devin Neal is now in that trio of great Kansas running backs. He logged 3 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons for the Jayhawks, and twice he surpassed 1,200 yards, Matt, in high school. He was the number 1 recruit in the state of Kansas, and he decided to stay near his home to play baseball and remain close to his family. He was an impact player immediately as a freshman with 707 yards and 8 touchdowns. He started 8 games, and that is really nice for a true freshman, Matt. He was the first Jayhawks freshman to be ever named Offensive Player of the Week after his performance against Texas with 143 yards and 3 touchdowns. And friends, I just watched some of that tape again. He's really good in that game. It's an impressive outing. He recorded his first 1,000-yard season the next year, averaging 6.1 yards per carry. He also had 21 catches for 183 yards and a score. He was honorable mention All Big 12. In 2023, he smashed. He set a career best with 1,280 yards rushing and 16 scores. He garnered second team All Big 12. And I know, Matt, we both expected him to go pro. He would have been higher up in our rankings last year because it was a weaker draft class. But he decided to come back, and in 2024, he gained another 1,266 yards, and he replicated his production with 16 more touchdowns. He was also the team captain that year, and honorable mention All Big 12. In fairness to Devin Neal, the Big 12 was loaded at the running back position. You should not be ashamed at all for honorable mention this year. It was so crowded. He finished his career as Kansas's all-time leading rusher with 4,343 yards, and he holds school records for rushing touchdowns with 49, scrimmage touchdowns with 53, and 100-plus rushing games with 20. Matt, I know we both have been talking about Devin Neal for a while. What's your film analysis say about the young man?
Yeah, for those watching, we're going to get to the Devin Neal highlights here in a second to really show you what his film's all about. But I have to say off the bat, one thing about Devin Neal, he's so consistent. You talked about that production. It's so consistent. His tape is so consistent. Like, he is not the type of guy who jumps out to you if you're watching casually or if you're just watching highlights. Like, you're going to see some great plays here in a moment, but he's more than that. He's consistent. He's an every down type running back. And that really does stand out to me, John. You mentioned it. He would have been my running back 1 in last year's draft class. Absolutely. We have a stronger draft class. He's going under the radar, but he comes with some really impressive film. So let's get into it here. So you're going to notice right off the bat with Devin Neal, good contact balance, right? He's not physically, he's good. He's 220. He's strong. But it's this contact balance, low center of gravity. He always finishes forward through the end of the play. One thing you're not going to see on a highlight reel, Neal consistently wins in short yardage situations. And look at this second effort strength, right? It's this tenacity to play through that first level of contact. I like his feet, John. He's light on his feet. He's a shifty runner. He's got sharp cuts. I love his footwork, his change of direction ability. He's what I would call a shifty runner, right? Think of LaShawn McCoy, right? Not the most impressive pure athlete, but his shifty, consistent running style really stands out when you watch him over time. Now, I will admit, Devin Neal, not the fastest guy. Like, he's not going to go to Indianapolis and blow out the 40, but he's got game speed. All right. He plays well. He matches Big 12 defenses, and he can flip a second gear. He can get moving downfield here. And you'll see right here, he has that second level ability. But I think what you're going to notice the most watching this Devin Neal tape clip here is his vision, John. He sees the field so well. And that is something that I give a huge bump to my running backs for. When they can anticipate space opening, when they understand cutback lanes, nobody in this class changes direction with more conviction and more reliability than Devin Neal out of Kansas. And on top of all of that, when we're talking about well-rounded, we need to talk about somebody who can contribute to the pass game as well. He's got reliable hands. We can see that. It shows up on his tape, and he catches the ball in stride. He continues through midair, continues catching the ball through midair, and continues upfield with it. Well-rounded runner, does everything at a high level, and he's super consistent, John. Just like the consistent resources provided at a high level over at patreon.com/rookiebigboard. If you want to get in on the most in-depth rookie analysis out there, you got to head on over. Check out the Dynasty rankings, the Devy rankings, and of course, the 130 rookies ranked in this year's class. 80 of them have full article write-ups, each with tape review. And I got to tell you, John, Devin Neal, he's pretty high up there. So if you want to see exactly where he fits into the rankings, you absolutely can do that. Get personalized advice in the Rookie Big Board Discord, one-on-one draft consultation calls, 100+ page rookie guide. So much good stuff over at patreon.com/rookiebigboard. So I mentioned it, consistency is a big piece of what I love about Devin Neal. And I'm going to, cede the floor to you, John, because I know that his stats are going to show that consistency as well.
Before I break down the numbers, I have to say he is so consistent. And what I like about it, Matt, he can play in both gap and zone schemes. He really is the type of running back that coaches love because you can do so many different things with him. And one thing, you mentioned it, and I want to emphasize it. He's really good between the tackles. I don't think he gets enough credit. He can line up and play all three downs. I love his feet and his vision, and that helps you in the tackles. But Matt, when he showed up to the Senior Bowl at 220, I was absolutely ecstatic. He's 5'11". And my friends, Kansas didn't list him that heavy in the past. So I had just a little bit of trepidation. Is he going to come in at over 200? And what is his BMI? Matt, he has a 30.7 BMI. He's got almost a perfect body and frame for an NFL-sized running back. Yards per attempt, 5.7. And let's put it in context. Kansas does not have a lot of offensive linemen who are going to the NFL. That's a terrific number over 4 seasons. Scrimmage yards dominator, 30%. Matt, he can carry an offense. If you needed him to, he can deliver for you as an offensive coach. I think he's an above average receiver. He's not unbelievable, but we saw a clip right there, Matt, right? He was a good 15 yards down the field outside the hash mark. Now, it wasn't a great throw, but he contorted his body and caught the ball with his hands. I really like him as a receiver. Also, he had 35 runs according to PFF over 10+ yards. He's a short yardage back. He's an explosive back. He's a very good receiver. Matt, I really like Devin Neal. But most important, why we are here, why should fantasy fans in the dynasty community like Devin Neal?
Yeah, let's put it all together here because that's what it's all about at the Rookie Big Board. We're giving you actionable advice to help you win your rookie drafts and help you build those championship winning rosters. So with Devin Neal, starting with the draft capital here, I'm projecting him to go day 2 late. You can lock him into day 2 for me. I refuse to believe he's going anywhere but that second or third round. 51 to 102. He's going to be in the midst of a big running back run that's going to happen at that point in the draft. Day too late, folks. It's very good draft capital for a running back. We obviously love when they go round 1 or, even early round 2, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with this. This is good draft capital. And I expect him, John, he falls into my weekly starter tier, which means, he's going to be that consistent running back too. I'm not sitting here and telling you, right, that even though as much as I love Devin Neal, I'm not saying he's going to be, a top 6 running back weekly. But I think he's going to be a consistent guy, running back 16, running back 18. Some weeks he's running back 10. Some weeks he's running back 24. But he's going to be a steady, consistent presence. And the value of a consistent running back is so good. And the way he wins in the goal line, I think that he's going to give you fantasy points in a very similar way to how James Conner gives you fantasy points. So that's why he's my fantasy football value comparison. A really steady, reliable running back in the second round. And I'm essentially saying, because I think Devin Neal is going to go early second round of rookie drafts, 201 to 204 at the highest. I'm telling you, you're going to get good value on Devin Neal. You might even get him later in the second round. I'm saying, you're basically getting James Conner on your team for an early to mid second round rookie pick. All right. In a young James Conner type production, right? Like that is such a good value that you could get in your rookie drafts. And it's certainly one that I'm going to be taking advantage of. He's going in my heavy exposure projection. I'm going to have at least 50% of Devin Neal, if not more. I've already got him on a ton of my Devy rosters because we've seen this, right? We've seen it from him so consistently. He's not a one-hit wonder. He's not just a senior year breakout. He's been doing it, like you mentioned, John, off the top, since he was a freshman at Kansas. He's going to come into the NFL. He's going to make an immediate impact on an NFL roster, and he's going to make an immediate impact on your fantasy football roster, just like the rookie big board is making an impact on a ton of fantasy football rosters, helping with that personalized rookie draft advice, the in-depth, unmatched rookie analysis and insight rankings, rookie guide, all that good stuff available over at patreon.com/rookiebigboard. Whether you're listening or watching, the link to join will be in the episode description. Now is the time to get ahead of your league mates, and class is going to be in session all rookie draft season long with the FF Educator and the Gridiron Scholar. We're going to be back real soon with another rookie profile.